Have you ever felt adrift? Like a ship without a sail, tossed on a sea of gray. Not sad necessarily, but empty. A quiet ache that settles deep within, coloring everything in muted tones. That feeling, that pervasive sense of offness, is often a whisper from a tiny molecule within your brain, serotonin. We talk about happiness as if it's a destination, a grand achievement. But what if happiness isn't something you find, but something your brain creates? And what if that creation relies on a delicate balance, a subtle chemistry centered around this one remarkable substance? Serotonin. The name itself sounds almost peaceful, doesn't it? It's also known as 5-hydroxytryptamine, a mouthful of science concealing a profoundly simple role, signaling well-being. It's not the sole architect of joy, not a magic bullet that banishes all shadows, but it's a foundational element. Think of it as a crucial instrument in the orchestra of your mind. If that instrument is out of tune, the whole melody suffers. Imagine the inside of your brain, not as a smooth, uniform expanse, but as a vast, intricate city. Billions of tiny citizens, neurons, constantly communicating, sending messages along complex pathways. Serotonin is one of the key messengers, a vital courier carrying information that influences almost everything you do, everything you feel. It's born in specialized neighborhoods, clusters of neurons nestled in the brainstem, specifically in areas called the raphe nuclei. These aren't isolated outposts. They're the central hubs, sending out tendrils that reach almost every corner of this internal metropolis, even down to the spinal cord and the cerebellum, coordinating movement and balance. Consider this: serotonin doesn't just touch your emotions. It shapes your sleep, dictating when you drift into peaceful rest and when you awaken refreshed. It influences your appetite, subtly guiding your cravings and your sense of fullness. It's woven into the fabric of your memory, helping you encode experiences and recall the past. It even regulates your body temperature, keeping you comfortable and stable. It's a silent conductor, orchestrating a symphony of bodily functions, often without you even realizing its influence. But how does it actually work? Let's zoom in. Imagine two neurons, separated by a tiny gap, the synapse. This gap is the critical space where communication happens. A neuron firing is like sending a coded message. Serotonin is one of the codes. It's created from an essential amino acid called tryptophan, which you get from your diet. Once created, serotonin is carefully packaged into tiny vesicles, like precious cargo, and stored within the sending neuron. When the neuron receives a signal, it releases this serotonin into the synapse. Think of it as releasing a key into a lock. On the receiving neuron are specialized receptors, designed to fit that specific key. When serotonin binds to these receptors, it triggers a cascade of events, passing the message along. It's a beautifully elegant system, a chemical handshake between brain cells. But the conversation can't go on forever. The serotonin needs to be cleared from the synapse, like removing the key from the lock, to allow for new messages. And that's where the serotonin transporter comes in. This transporter is a protein, a tiny recycling machine that reabsorbs serotonin from the synapse, bringing it back into the sending neuron. It's a clever system, ensuring resources aren't wasted. But this is also where things can go wrong. Because if that transporter is blocked, if serotonin can't be reabsorbed, it lingers in the synapse, amplifying its effect. And that's the principle behind a very common class of antidepressants, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs. These medications don't magically create serotonin. They simply prevent its removal, allowing it to circulate longer and exert a stronger influence. They're designed to boost the signal, to amplify the feeling of well-being when it's diminished. For many, SSRIs can be life-changing, offering a pathway out of the darkness of depression. But it's important to understand they are not a cure-all. And they aren't without their risks. Because serotonin is involved in so many processes, manipulating its levels can have unintended consequences. Side effects are common, ranging from mild nausea to more serious concerns. And then there's serotonin syndrome, a potentially dangerous condition that arises when serotonin levels become excessively high. It's usually caused by combining multiple drugs that increase serotonin, creating a chemical storm within the brain. Symptoms can include confusion, agitation, muscle rigidity, and even seizures. Left untreated, it can be fatal. It's a stark reminder that tinkering with the brain's chemistry is a delicate undertaking, one that requires careful monitoring and expert guidance. But what if there were ways to naturally, gently, nudge your serotonin levels in the right direction? What if you could harness the power of your own brain and body to cultivate a sense of well-being, without relying solely on medication? The good news is you can. For decades, researchers have been exploring non-pharmacological approaches, and the results are encouraging. One powerful tool is positive mood induction. Simply put, actively cultivating positive emotions, whether through gratitude exercises, mindfulness practices, or engaging in activities you enjoy, can correlate with increased serotonin synthesis. It's a fascinating two-way street. Serotonin influences mood, and mood influences serotonin. It's a feedback loop, a virtuous cycle that can lift you out of the gray. Think about a time you felt truly joyful, completely immersed in a positive experience. Remember the sensations, the lightness in your chest, the warmth spreading through your limbs, the ease of your breath. Those sensations aren't just feelings. They are the physical manifestations of serotonin at work. And by intentionally creating more of those moments, you can encourage your brain to produce more of this vital neurotransmitter. Exposure to bright light is another surprisingly effective strategy. Our brains are incredibly sensitive to light, and sunlight, in particular, plays a crucial role in regulating serotonin production. That's why seasonal affective disorder, the winter blues, is so prevalent in regions with limited sunlight. Light therapy, using specialized lamps that mimic sunlight, can be a powerful tool for boosting mood and serotonin levels during the darker months. And then there's diet. While you can't directly ingest serotonin and have it cross the blood-brain barrier, meaning eating a banana won't instantly make you happier, you can provide your brain with the building blocks it needs to create serotonin. Tryptophan, the amino acid we discussed earlier, is key. Foods rich in tryptophan include turkey, eggs, nuts, seeds, and salmon. But it's not just about tryptophan alone. It's about a balanced diet that supports overall brain health. However, perhaps the most effective, and certainly the safest, way to boost serotonin levels is something you've probably heard 1,000 times: exercise. Vigorous physical activity isn't just good for your body, it's profoundly good for your brain. Studies consistently show that exercise increases serotonin levels, and those elevated levels can persist for several days. Afterward, It's not just about the physical exertion, although that's certainly a factor. It's also about the release of endorphins, natural mood boosters that work in synergy with serotonin. It's about the sense of accomplishment, the feeling of being in control of your body, the opportunity to connect with nature or with others. Exercise is a holistic practice, a powerful antidote to the stresses of modern life. Imagine yourself running, swimming, dancing, or simply walking briskly in the fresh air. Feel your muscles working, your heart beating, your breath deepening. Notice the sensations in your body, the energy flowing through your veins. That's not just physical activity, it's a direct investment in your mental well-being. But it's not just about the intensity of the exercise. It's also about the joy you find in it. If you dread your workouts, if they feel like a chore, the benefits will be diminished. Find an activity you genuinely enjoy, something that makes you feel alive and energized. That positive mood, that sense of pleasure, will further amplify the serotonin boost. So, the next time you're feeling adrift, remember the tiny molecule working tirelessly within your brain. Remember that happiness isn't a destination, but a process, a delicate dance of chemistry and consciousness. Remember that you have the power to influence that dance, to nurture your brain, and to cultivate a sense of well-being. Don't underestimate the power of simple things. A walk in the sunlight, a nourishing meal, a heartfelt conversation, a moment of gratitude, a joyful movement. These are not just small pleasures. They are the building blocks of a happier, healthier you. They are the keys to unlocking your brain's natural capacity for joy. Serotonin isn't a guarantee of perpetual happiness. Life will inevitably bring challenges, setbacks, and moments of sadness. But by understanding the role of this remarkable molecule, and by taking proactive steps to support its production, you can create a more resilient, more balanced, and more fulfilling life. You can learn to navigate the sea of gray with a stronger sail, guided by the quiet, steady presence of well-being within. It's a journey, not a destination. A continuous process of self-care, self-awareness, and mindful living. And it all starts with recognizing the power of the tiny molecules within and the extraordinary potential of your own amazing brain.